Hi, my name is Jessica Sicre, and the topic that I chose to talk about today is cyberbullying. Cyberbullying is a topic that I chose because now it is something that is very common because technology has become a part of our daily lives and our daily routines. Kids have grown up using computers and phones since they were little now, at even the ages by 6. And this has led to children not being able to really understand that communicating person to person is way more effective than through texting or through IMing or through Facebook messaging. And because of these new innovations, kids are easily targeted through the internet, like that belittles them and makes them feel very hurt and sad at almost every day. People can type words that belittle others and hurt them emotionally. And cyberbullying is what cyberbullying is a person is willingly inflicting harm to another using cell phones, computers, anything in the electronic field. It isn't always easy to notice when somebody's being cyberbullied because something that is so natural nowadays, even words like loser and you suck, can all be considered cyberbullying in the criminal world. Social media is connected to every type of electronic device nowadays. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter is on every single person's phone, laptop, or computer. And in a 2006 poll, even from the national organization Fight Crime, they found that 1 in 3 teens and 1 in 6 preteens have been victims of cyberbullies between the last year. So from 2005 to 2006, 1 out of 6 teens was a victim of cyberbullying. That's a huge number that has gone up recently in the last maybe 4 years because of the new technologies that have come up in the children's school. Now kids are using laptops for school and for homework and things like that, so it's become way more common. Nearly 43% of kids have been bullied online, and 1 in 4 of these kids it's been happened more than once. So what happens is that a lot of kids are bullied in school. They tell their parents, the parents go to the office, and the office punishes the kids that have cyberbullied the other kids. But what happens is that since it's such a normal thing to write stupid comments, like I said earlier, like loser and you suck and we hate you, which can be seen to kids as like a joke or something that's normal, is seen as cyberbullying in a bigger spectrum, and it is really considered cyberbullying, but kids are so used to it now that they don't realize what a big deal it is. Cyberbullying has become easy for people because they gain courage hiding behind technology as well. Many kids have problems reacting and developing relationships in school because they're so used to talking behind a screen and behind their cell phone. Even dating nowadays is all done online. There's no real person-to-person connection here. And saying something to somebody's face is too much of a challenge, and it's too much like a direct relationship for kids and adults now. And it feels like they're superior in the situation if they're behind a TV screen or a computer screen or anything like that. They're less likely to get caught red-handed hiding behind social media because you can change your name. You can have on Facebook, maybe not my name, Jessica Sicre, but I can have Jessica 411. It can be any Jessica. I can lie and say it's not me, so it's much easier to get away with things. And 81% of young people think bullying online is easier to get away with than bullying in person, which I believe is correct because I've seen it in TV shows, even in school. Kids are constantly bullied online or like written something on their pictures, like on Facebook their default's like, oh, you look ugly here. It might be seen as a joke, but that's bullying. It can emotionally hurt the other person on the other side of that screen, and because they're writing behind the screen, it's seen as a much lesser deal because it's not person to person. So kids nowadays are growing up in this environment, and it's not their fault because technology has advanced, but it's the parents' fault and the teacher's fault and the older generation to teach kids that it's not okay to do that behind the screen, and that the internet is made to enhance our lives, not ruin it even more. So many kids are affected day by day. There are many psychological and emotional outcomes of cyberbullying nowadays. And there have been many stories of kids dealing with cyberbullying and never letting adults know as well. So as many kids tell their parents and the parents take it to the school, a lot of kids don't believe that it is considered cyberbullying. They think it's just a part of growing up and being called all these names through the screen. But it really is a big deal, and they don't realize that they have to tell their parents and have something to do with it, to get a stop to it. They deal with it on an everyday basis, which sometimes leads to depression to many kids. Many kids don't know how to deal with it. They think that they're the outcasts and that it's okay to be called all these things, and it's important for these kids to realize that this is not the norm. They need to put a stand to it and talk to their parents, talk to their teachers to help them not have to deal with this depression and this bullying in school. so many kids have been affected by the cyberbullying that have gone into depression and then eventually have committed suicide because of cyberbullying. In 2003, Brian Halligan, a 13-year-old boy in Vermont, was a victim of cyberbullying and physical abuse as well. It was it was being safe in the world of somewhat anonymous internet. And what happened was that he was cyberbullied through the internet, and that the boy that was bullying him through the internet, through Facebook, had been doing it since fifth grade, and he was in eighth grade at the time. And he briefly had befriended Ryan, the bully, and through then he got a little bit of a relationship, and then from there started bullying him, and it was just a horrible time for in Ryan's life. And Ryan was the main culprit, and he told his new friend something embarrassing and funny that had happened once, and the friend ran with that new information and blackmailed him with it, and that's what happened, and it ended up turning into this huge bullying, and Ryan eventually committed suicide. What had happened with that bullying is that there was a rumor, and saying that he was gay, and because of this Ryan was in full depression because he was not gay, and the rumor and the taunting continued beyond that school day, well into the night and during the summer of 2003. So there was a whole entire year of this happening, and like I said, he eventually committed suicide, and his family was in shock because they had no idea about any of this. They had no idea that he was being cyberbullied. They had no idea he was getting abuse from this kid because of the so-called rumor and because of the bullying, which could have put an end to it if he had spoken to his parents. So it's very important that, parents talk to their kids and like check their internet, check their Facebook, because a lot of parents don't know what's really happening through their innocent Facebook pages or Twitter pages or Instagram pages. There's so much more on the internet. And after his death, Ryan's parents logged on to his AOL account because it was the one place his son spent most of his time. They had no idea what was happening in his life. And he logged on to see if there were any clues to why he committed suicide, because his parents had no idea initially when he first committed suicide. And then that's how they found out he was being bullied since fifth grade, and it was like a huge disaster. And now Ryan's father devotes his time to touring the United States and Canada, informing students about cyberbullying and telling them the story of his son, so that kids can realize that it's very important to stand up for themselves and be careful what they do on the internet, be careful who they befriend on the internet. And Ryan's father tells them that it can be prevented, and that if this happens to them, they need to tell someone so that they can help them, like I said earlier. There's also another story of an older girl named Rachel Neblett, a 17-year-old high school student from Kentucky, and she began receiving threatening emails through her MySpace account, which was during 2005-2006. And after months of cyberbullying, she read one last email that read, "I'm not going to only beat you up, but put you in a morgue." That's what the cyberbullier told her. And on October 9th, she took her life. And these are just two kids of many, many stories. Every day you can search online. There's tons and tons of kids that have hurt themselves or hurt others because they're so frustrated with the cyberbullying, and it has led them to commit suicide as well. And no one should ever have to deal with cyberbullying, and even less have it lead to suicide or depression or anything like that. No kid deserves that, so young especially. And another statistic said that 70% of students report seeing frequent bullying online, and 90% of teens who have seen social media bullying say they have ignored it. It's another huge problem that's occurring nowadays. People see comments and things happening online and don't do anything about it because they think, it's not my problem. Like, it's not my problem, so I'm not going to get involved. I'm not going to tell them to stop and say that it's not right, which is a big deal. Parents need to talk to their kids and tell them, to intervene and help prevent this. This is something that is totally, totally preventable. And kids need to be more informed about cyberbullying, and parents also need to keep a closer eye on their children. Even though, Facebook, Twitter might seem innocent, parents need to be on their children's Facebook, because anything is possible online, and anything that is written online stays there forever, and parents need to, be careful what their kids do online, and they need to watch them, because kids are kids at the end of the day. And students need to be informed on what the result can be if they cyberbully. So the beginning of the school year, the principal of each school needs to tell their students exactly what will happen, what the consequences will be for cyberbullying, and maybe, have some policies that principals should be friends with each student in their school on Facebook, so the principal can make sure, nothing is happening illegally online or anything that can cause any of their students harms. Kids need to know how to treat everyone equally and respectfully, and they need to know how to treat others as they would like to be treated. Nobody would want to be bullied in school. Nobody would want to be told that they were ugly or told they were losers, they were nerds. None of that should be acceptable in any student, any family life, anything. Even older people, nobody deserves to be treated like that. And in my opinion, like I said earlier, principals, schools especially, need to really put an end to this, because it usually happens between the ages of 12 and 16. That's when kids are going through puberty, they're maturing, they're starting to like the opposite sex. So it's a time that's very crucial to students, and it's a time that kids need to be molded into the type of person they're going to be to grow up. And cyberbullying is not the way to go, and that should be something that they should really look over. And cyberbullying to this day, even though most of the stories I talked about were in 2005, 2006, cyberbullying to this day continues to take the toll on many lives of many kids all over the world. And all of us and the community need to take more control of this situation to save the lives of many kids. Not even save the lives, but save the self-esteem of many kids. This affects kids in the long run. Somebody who might be bullied in 4th grade still has self-esteem issues when they're 35. Maybe in 4th grade they were called fat, and at 19 maybe they became anorexic. They recovered from that, but at 32 they still have problems every time they're going to eat a french fry. Things like that can affect people for the rest of their lives. There needs to be an end to it. There needs to be, it's not, this isn't a perfect world. Nobody's ever not going to be bullied or made fun of, but there needs to be a stop. We can prevent it from happening online, so as long as we can, we need to take control of that. And together we could help and guide kids to a wonderful future filled with beautiful emotions, not all this hatred and depression from being bullied by their classmates and friends. Nobody deserves to be treated this way. And cyberbullying has taken over ever since technology has taken over. Every day we're constantly on our phones. We wake up, we check our Twitter, we check everything. And seeing things written about you can really hurt you for the rest of your life. So I think that schools, really need to take a bigger impact on this and really realize what is happening and how we can put an end to this. Thank you.